History and Headlocks. Class is in session.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of History and Headlocks. And it's a little different today, everybody. Ari is on assignment. She's currently dealing with something, but she'll be back for the next episode. Until then, we have Jay Santy back here on History and Headlocks. And by the way, sir, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, senor. Thank you very much. And I guess I'm the substitute teacher for today, although it's supposed to be my my night off because of the holiday or whatever pseudo day they give this. I'll be substituting today, guys. All right, so this means we're not gonna pull out the television and the video, the VCR. We're actually gonna do some work today. So pull out your papers and pens, and we're gonna get to some work.
On today's subject, of all the people we're going to talk about, this is the one you don't want to pull the TV out for.
You know, it's funny because I saw when you guys told me what the subject matter was, I was like, I could really sit this one out, but I said, could I though? No, I really couldn't.
Help yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, but I will also say welcome back because you just recently moved and you are now, what's the proper word for it? You're being situated into your new home, and so far looking good on the screen so far.
Yeah, listen, the one thing I can tell people, and Mike, you've done this for a couple of times or so, moving sucks.
Yes.
It is not as exciting as people think it would be. Oh, new surroundings and environments. It's just so, oh my goodness, it's just such a beautiful, no, it sucks. You realize how much shit you have and how much shit you got to get rid of. And then when you find out what you got to unpack and you're like, why did I bring this with me? It's just tedious and ponderous nonsense.
Yeah, I've definitely had that moment of like, oh, I don't have that many stuff. And then it's like, okay, it turned from a few boxes to a lot of boxes at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. It's horrendous.
Yeah. And on another note, too, for us that live here in New York City, we had a big celebration because the New York Knicks finally won a championship. It's been 53 years, and I was born in 95, so that's pretty much half of my lifespan. But I did want to bring this up, too, because you brought it up on kind of promo that New Yorkers really don't know how to celebrate. There's no proper way that we could have been happy about this or just say, like, oh, thank God we won. But no, people had to be obnoxious, rule breaking, and just there's a lot of nonsense going on.
Well, to be fair, if you've ever seen any of the celebrations that occurred in previously, like when after World War II came out, there was people hanging off of freaking light poles and shit as well. So we can't be too arrogant to believe that didn't happen for pride. But yeah, this is just something like. Yeah, guys, come on. I mean, I get it. You're excited. But this is just a reason why for some assholes to go out there and just be stupid and ridiculous. Hey, you should have been like Philly. Philly goes out, they break a few light poles, they light a car on fire, and they eat horse shit. We should have been like them.
Meanwhile, you can say that casually, and it's just like that's a normal thing that people did for celebrating a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like big little brother D. Shout out to my brother Dennis. He's in LA, and he was so excited because he's been a long suffering Knicks fan himself. And he said it. He's like, he says, LA did the same thing when the Lakers won. They were lighting shit on fire. They lit a bus on fire. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I thought we were the only assholes.
Did you see the woman that stole a garbage can that was colored with the blue and orange?
You know what's crazy?
Dumped it and then just took it home.
You know, it's crazy. I would have probably done it too. It's funny.
Come on.
I would have probably done it too. You know why? Because I do like silly shit. You know, those are the kind of stuff that I would take just so people could go, why? And I go, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Just have your own personal garbage can in your home.
So there was years ago in the 90s, there were ads that the Yellow Pages would do. And they were basically like a a subject matter for the yellow pages. If you guys don't know what the yellow pages are,
Memories for me. I was like, damn, even I remember those.
right. If you guys don't know what the yellow pages are, they were books that were delivered to your house to let you know about certain companies and such. There was the white pages, which was everybody's phone numbers were in it, and then the yellow pages were for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have them on the subways. It would be the subject matter, and it'd be like something like really silly. It'll be like bunny farm, and it'll be like a rabbit dressed in a farmer's outfit and shit. It was silly, but they were cute. So what I would do is I would take them, and in the subways you could slide them out of the advertising form, and you could take them if you wanted them. They were just like all they did. I'm not gonna say it's because of me. I'm gonna say that possibly more people were doing it. Started locking them in that you couldn't take them anymore. So I was like, so ever since then you can't steal the advertisements anymore.
You just took away job opportunities for people.
Right. It's fucking just stupid. Dumb
so if
shit.
anybody that's watching this that wanted to have one of those jobs years ago, blame Santy for that.
Yeah, blame me for stealing that shit for you.
But but now we're heading into the summertime. The weather's starting to change a lot nowadays. But things are going to be heating up here on History at Headlocks and New York Wrestle Media. Well, on your end, because now you're back full time, with the studio being set up, so a lot more stuff on your end is coming up. But last episode on History at Headlocks, we talked about WCW, and there was so much to cover that there was even parts afterwards where we were like, oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that part, and that part. But we brought up a name that brought up a lot of reactions from, like, especially from Ariana, because she doesn't mince her words. She lets her feelings known. But the word or the name Bill Goldberg sparked a reaction like I didn't expect to hear, even though I should have. But when I mention the name Bill Goldberg to you, what immediately comes to mind in the world of professional wrestling?
Overrated. Oftentimes I have to say, yeah, it's overrated.
Well, he's overrated, not it.
But
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's an entity, right? Goldberg is an entity. He at the time I got it what it was because when I was watching, I was one of those I was able to watch both shows. I would watch Raw and then Nitro or Nitro Raw, whichever. Now I'll go. And not many of my friends were wrestling fans. Only had a handful of them that were. But whenever I would be in my apartment watching it, when I was in my room, and the guys would walk in, they would ask, "Yo, that dude Goldberg is on? Did he fight yet? Did he wrestle?" And it was because what they saw. And we'll get to it a little bit more, but it was just because of how the matches were staged, what was on the line, what was going on. And you realize that, yeah, there was money to be made with him. I always said, he was overrated. I found it to be fucking stupid, but you know, it is what it is.
I think for me, where I wasn't known to what he did in WCW except until 2003 when he made the jump, or he finally made the commitment to go to WWE. And for 9 months, I pretty much saw a one-hit wonder where it was spear, jackhammer, win. And then a lot of weird stuff in the middle, but we'll cover that. But then when he makes his second, third, and fourth returns, it's kind of like, okay, now we're not really caring anymore. But I will say, for his overall appearance, he did have a look. He did have a presence about him. But you could just tell from the word go, really didn't care for the business, just in it for the money. And there's nothing really wrong with that. There's been a lot of cases of it, but I think from me noticing, just looking at him, it was obvious.
Yeah.
It was obvious from the word go.
Yeah. I used to be one that was upset about that whole feeling of didn't really love the business, didn't care for the business. That was something that used to strike me as, and then like if it was a negative, at the same time, I'm like, well, who really fucking loves their job? Who really wants to? Who loves it? If it was called fun, that's what it'll be. I'm like, I'm going to fun in the morning. No, it's work.
Yeah.
And for him, and then for him, it was just like you said, come in, paint by numbers, and go. It's that whole didn't love the business mentality. Just it should be only conserved for actual wrestlers, actual workers. Let them have that discussion. Coming from a football background, he played for Georgia, University of Georgia, and had his toe in the NFL for a little bit. He had the look. He had that, physique, that size, and when injuries hit him in the NFL, he had a certain moment at the WFL as well. He had that, had a taste, and it was done. That's what happens. But do you remember when he actually started in WCW?
Like his first initial run?
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty much, I don't know how to describe it really. It was just like the Goldberg, like we would know without the elbow pads, but very quiet, just was in there, killed Bill DeMott, and pretty much was really, I don't know, it was just Goldberg on a mute. What I'm trying to think of, because I mean, like when his first feud in WCW was against fucking Steve Mongo McMichael, two former NFL players.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because
the main reason he feuded with him because he wanted his Super Bowl ring.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. Like I remember that distinctly. I never watched any of the older stuff afterwards, but I remember that distinctly, that feud, and when
which was his first main feud.
Right. And then when he went away for a couple of months, and they brought him back, and I guess you would say repackaged, if that's what you want to say. Mm-hmm. They tried to, sell this whole undefeated thing.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of thoughts on that. We'll get into that.
Right. But yeah, I that's what I said when I always say, and promoters and bookers say it alike too. They say wrestling fans' memory is like it's short term. They forget stuff easy. Only the pure enthusiasts will remember. Fucking guy's not undefeated. He lost. He lost a couple of matches prior. So yeah,
that and also he wasn't a babyface for the first couple of months. It was pure heel. Like he was an asshole. Like he would attack Mongo from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he was like a gun for hire because his ex-wife Deborah was the one saying like, "Oh, if you kill my ex-husband, I'll give you his Super Bowl ring."
Right.
Which is one of those weird Goldberg gimmicks of like he would kill someone for a prize or like a bounty or some shit like that. But yeah, because then afterwards, like he had that feud, and then all of a sudden he just started going on a random win streak. But then I will say when he came on those Nitros, I did watch back. There was something about him that I will say the fans gravitated towards, because the minute they saw him, they go, okay, whoever the hell he's in the ring with, he's gonna kill. Just immediate spear, jackhammer, and that's it. Might be like one or two things that their opponents might do. The one match that stands out is the La Parka match, where La Parka hits him in the head with a chair, turns around, does his little dance, and then he gets speared out of his boots. Right. Like that's one of those like fun moments, because once Goldberg gets that chair hit in his head, just immediately shakes off. Like that's what I'm talking about with. He had a certain presence about him, because it's like nobody at that time was doing that.
Yeah, I remember when they started to put together this whole like I said, the repackage, but the ever became like the new change, because they wanted to have this counteract of what was going on in Raw and WWE, right, or WWF at the time. So they wanted somebody to have like that kind of impact of when music hits, just an appearance goes all is shown to get that pop. They wanted that feel. I guess you would say like the Stone Cold pop, and they went full-fledged with the Stone Cold thing. Like, they look what they did with it.
Just it was Stone Cold with just boxing gloves.
Right. They gave him the MMA fighting gloves.
Yeah. And he told the stories like going through airports. If people were like, "Oh, Stone Cold," he goes, "No, Bill Goldberg."
Yeah, they like, it wasn't a bad idea, but it also just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way within the business of I guess gimmick infringement, as they would say. But you know, at the same time, it worked.
Was it though?
I
Honest
mean,
to God, was it?
no, it's just, and well, you think about it. If it was really gimmick infringement, everybody really took it from Tyson, because that's what Tyson did. Tyson came in all black, had the black socks, black boots, black trunks, went into the ring, kicked ass, and left. And that's what Stone Cold and Goldberg were really modeled after, except they were white. They were white guys.
Right, but I'm saying like them two specifically. Like the only thing they have in common is that they're both bald, and they both wear black trunks.
But yeah.
Other than that, Stone Cold drank beer. Goldberg, you would not know what he'd be drinking, but he'd just be a jacked up dude. He was much physically bigger than Stone Cold.
Yeah, I think what it was is just more of that. If Goldberg would have had the experience, the ring work that, and so the years under his belt that Stone Cold had, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have tried to model it. At the same, I mean, because look what look what WWE did, or WWF did, to counteract that. They knew that there were similarities there, so they said, "Hell, we're going to lean into it more than anything." They brought out Goldberg, and
which Bill was not a fan of at first, which seems to be a theme with Mr. Bill, because it seems like everything, like around this time too, like even when he's on top, everything always bothered him, which I think maybe goes into his personal, his way of living. But he seemed like the type of guy that just took everything so serious he couldn't take a joke. Like even like you mentioned the Gilbert thing, even with the Chris Jericho stuff, where Jericho's willing to put him over just to get some time on TV for himself. Bill was not willing to do anything. He was like, "I'm not going to work with this fucking little midget guy. Like, why am I going to do that?"
Yeah, that's, once again, it's one of those arguments that I say could be left to the you can leave it to the workers themselves to have, because when you hear the stories, you could only hear it from that side of the individual. Right. Remember, years later, Lesnar had somewhat of a reputation like that. At the same time, nine times out of 10 of those decisions that Brock made, made the call, he was right. Like, he was right. If you listen to the stories, and maybe later on down the line we'll look at that. But in Goldberg's case, it was like, who are you? And what makes you think you know more than somebody else?
Right.
You think you're refusing a work storyline or work angle or just a mini with Jericho, who's going to put you over and is going to make you look really good? That's ridiculous.
That's the key part. It would be something if Jericho said, "Oh, if we do this angle and I go over," no, he's saying, "I will put you over more." But Bill's like, "No, like." Because he's just looking at him physically and saying, like, "Oh, like nobody's gonna believe this." No, you don't believe it, but everybody else will be fucking excited for the day that this asshole gets speared by you. Because it's like poking, it's like poking the bear. Like everybody wants to see the person that just pokes the big unstoppable bear and just gets his head ripped off. That's what everybody wants to see at the end of the day. But this is meanwhile in the middle of Goldberg's big run, where we have to talk about the streak, where he would be, let's say, maybe like 102 on a Monday, and then next Monday he'd get like 20 more wins. Like, how the hell did that happen?
Well, you tend to forget that there were dark matches. No, there really wasn't. No,
come on, Chad. I was going to say, he worked like, how many double-doubles did he work? I mean, shit.
How many towns
did you work, Bill?
How many towns did you hit in 3 days? Like, really?
Like, it was one of those. It was very organic at first, and then once they started fudging up the numbers, that's when it stopped becoming fun.
Right.
Because the fans would actually keep track. They bring signs like, oh, like he's like, oh, he's 55-0, and then like, oh, he's like, then he'd be like a month later, like 60-0. It's like, then when they started padding the numbers, that's when it became a problem, or at least a noticeable one, where it's like, you don't need to do that.
I laugh because even I, when at that time, around 95, 90, I was maybe, 19, 20 years old. Even I was like putting it together. I'm going, wait a minute. What TV shows am I missing? I know there's only like fucking Saturday Night, whatever the fuck it's called, Thunder, and not even Thunder was. I don't even think Thunder was around at that time. It was just Nitro. So I'm like,
Nitro and maybe Saturday Night.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, where's he getting all these matches at? What the hell is going on here?
How do you get 5 wins in a week?
He ran a gauntlet match every night, and we didn't know about it.
Ridiculous. But I mean, early on, Goldberg had his run with the Flock. Raven gave him one of his better matches at that point. Goldberg won the U.S. title in his first shot. Then months later, we got to sell out the Georgia Dome, so Goldberg is going to be in the main event with the world champion Hulk Hogan. What was your reaction to this, where he pretty much got the rocket strapped to him, and now he's in? Well, I think also too that nobody remembers that he had a match with Scott Hall on the same show, and then worked Hogan in the main event. But what was your remembrance of Bill Goldberg winning the world title in that short amount of time? I think like it was 2 years, pretty much into his career.
It's funny because later on it came out, and I had the same sentiment where I was like, why didn't this happen at a pay-per-view? I mean, I think there was a pay-per-view match either upcoming, or was it was just prior to it that they could have set up that match, but they needed to have it in Georgia because he was an Atlanta Falcon. This is I guess his home, which by the way, he's actually was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's be for real. And I knew it was coming. By the way, he had one guy. We talk about guys who put Goldberg over. One guy who was amazing at doing the job for him and won't shut the fuck up about it either whenever he's asked about it is Raven. Raven did a great job of putting him over for the US title.
All right, that's the only thing you can talk about with Raven's WCW career, though. He put Goldberg over, and then everything else is whatever the hell he did.
It was dog shit. So,
by the way, just that pay-per-view that they were going up to, that was the one where Hogan and Rodman faced DDP and Malone. So you couldn't theoretically do a Hogan Goldberg pay-per-view main event, but of course Nitro had to be in the Georgia Dome, so they really wanted to sell that building out. But
yeah, and they did. Give them kudos to them. They did. It was really a feat for them, and they were at that time. This is '97. They were on a run, high paced run at that time. So you strike while the iron's hot, but at the same time, you just gave that away for free. That's substantial that you just did that.
And I think that the craziest thing looking back on is that they never announced anything in advance. So if you tune into Thunder that week, you'll be like, it'll be a passing by thing. It'll be like, oh, by the way, on Monday, this Monday Nitro coming up, Goldberg challenges Hulk Hogan for the world title.
So
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
As I look at the numbers here, Goldberg had a reign for 175 days and lost his record of 173-0.
And honestly, when you look at his first world title run, there was not really much to remember because that was around the time too with the NWO nonsense with the Black and White and the Wolfpack.
Right.
But the match at Halloween Havoc they had with DDP, where DDP did everything he can with this guy, and it's always funny when DDP recalls the match because he always talks about he says the one mistake where Bill kicked out a little too early, but it's like, really, dude? But it's also another one of those moments where Goldberg has one of those happy accidents where he goes for the spear, he fucking knocks himself out on the ring post. because this dude goes super fast and has no brakes.
Yeah, it's another one, like I said, astonishing that I was able to, and this is the one that he said that he was open to working with because he always wanted to work with Diamond Dallas Page. No, somebody told you, shut the fuck up, listen to the pro, he'll get you over, and it'll be fine. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And remember, Dallas was Dally was really one of those guys who like really listening and going through his videotapes and watching it. He was such a mark for himself. But I love Dally. Dally's my friend. He knew how to call it and he knew how to work with him. Very, very underrated match that a lot of people need to watch too as well. And once that build up started to happen, which later on became the match between Kevin Nash, woof.
You could tell.
Woof.
It was very clear on who Bill could work with and who he can't work with.
Oh man, as much as I love Nash, but woof, that was a fucking stinker.
Before we talk about the Kevin Nash thing, do you remember the significance of the Goldberg DDP match? Do you remember what happened with that match?
No, what was it? What was it?
That the Hogan Warrior match went long, so they got kicked off some televisions on the pay-per-view. So people that paid for the pay-per-view did not get to see Goldberg and DDP.
Was that the misfire of the fire incident in the ring when
when Hogan fucking like scorched himself in his own face?
what a dick.
But the next night on Nitro, they pretty much aired the whole match, DDP and Goldberg, on Nitro for free.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because the pay-per-view provider couldn't give him more time for the whole fucking show.
Right.
So when DDP made his entrance, it immediately cut off, and then that was it. Nobody got to see the main event if he ordered the pay-per-view.
Man, I'm looking at it. This is funny. It says, as per Wikipedia, while WCW officially billed Goldberg's streak at 173 consecutive victories, the actual number of matches during the period was significantly lower. No shit. Wrestling media.
I want to say like 120.
I would have even said probably less than that. Wrestling media outlets and Goldberg's peers, including Chris Jericho and Jimmy Hart, have noted that the win count was exaggerated for promotional purposes. No. Really?
But because before we get into the whole Kevin Nash thing, because that's a whole other thing, but I want to talk about what his overall presentation was at this point when he got the world title. Because you had the police escort, and then you had the fans chanting his name, and which at that time was very unique. But it was like looking back on it, is it still one of the uniquer entrants at the time?
Yeah, and to be honest, it was pretty cool. Then when you get down and think about it later on, you go, wait a minute. Was the escort to protect him or to protect others? Or what was the escort really for? It doesn't matter. It looked cool anyway. And, you come onto the stage, the sparklers, the fireworks are going off, the explosion. He sucks in the smoke from all that. He exhales it. He breathes it out. And he does the kick and fucking bullshit punches. It was presentable. It was fucking presentable. It was a good look. Then afterwards, he gets into the ring and he shakes the fucking ropes and it looked like a guy who's ready to get in the ring and fucking tear shit up. It was a great gimmick to work with.
So now let's talk about because all good things must come to an end in WCW. Like you can't have a good streak and just say, oh, like it needs to end like legitimately, right? Because Kevin Nash has the book at this time. He books himself in the Starrcade main event against Goldberg. Kevin Nash's best friend comes out with a fucking shock taser and tases Goldberg and then the jackknife.
Which, by the way, you took the taser, right? But you stand in the middle of fucking sparklers for 30 seconds and it's hitting you in your face, hitting you in your fucking nose, going in your mouth, hitting your chest, and you eat that up and blow the smoke out. A little horse prodding you couldn't take? Oh, you puss. Shut up. You should have taken that.
He's like, 300 pounds of muscle?
Yeah. fuck out of here. The overselling was ridiculous. So that was a funny part.
Even after the jackknife, when he's laying on the mat, he's still like fucking like convulsing or shaking.
I don't know which one is worse, that or when fucking they were spraying him with the spray paint that happened later on. That was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
No. What's worse, that the Goldberg with the taser, or when people take out their what's it called? Like a mini shock thing, and smoke comes out of it. The taser.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what a taser actually does?
So they have the taser and they have the cattle prod. That's what he had gotten here. He got hit with a cattle prod.
Yeah, because a fucking normal taser wouldn't work on Goldberg.
Exactly.
Right? That must have been their logic, right?
Yeah.
But it's always funny thinking about this, because they go back to the Georgia Dome, and it's like Goldberg's gonna get his title back, right? And they're advertising like Kevin Nash is gonna give this man his rematch, but here comes president candidate Hulk Hogan for the rescue. I don't know.
To think that he really was considering that shit, or you think he was really considering that shit?
And this was early '99.
Yeah, do you think it was for real? You thought it was horse shit? I thought it was always horse shit.
I thought in Hogan's mind he was definitely thinking about it for real. But do you also remember the storyline they were doing that night to keep Goldberg away from the building?
No, what was it? Oh, no, what was it?
He was stalking Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
Because she made a formal complaint that the
dude
is following her.
Yeah.
And then the best part is the best is when the cops go to Bill, like, you need to go downtown, we need to question you. He goes, I dare you to put me in those cuffs. It's like,
right.
All right. And then they put him in the cuffs, and then they go downtown. But just the whole finger poke of doom and with Goldberg's involved, because he runs down. He's all clear. He's not a stalker. Goes down, gets backstabbed by Lex Luger, and another one of those moments where Bill was not happy because it's either Scott Hall or I think it's Scott Hall, spray paints his bald head, and Goldberg is not known or didn't know that was going to happen. Meanwhile, they're fucking shocking him with the cattle prod.
Right.
And they just spray his whole back black, and he's pissed off. He's trying to beat the shit out of these people, but it was like one of those things. Like he was at the highest of highs, and then they made him look like a fucking idiot.
Oh, that
one fell swoop.
I know he was pissed because he was handcuffed at the time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know he was pissed.
They were lucky that he was handcuffed, because if he was not, he would have beat the shit out of all.
And that's why I think later on Hall admitted in the interviews that was the reason why he did it. He says we knew we were going to have him handcuffed, so he said, "Fuck it, let's give him some hair."
But yeah, it was one of those moments where the NWO always triumphant, but Goldberg has to look like an idiot. But it's one of those weird moments where he goes through the year of '99, and we're starting to see this weird little friendship or partnership with him and Bret Hart, which leads to Starrcade '99, which gives us Goldberg versus Bret for the world title. And if anybody's watched the Bret Hart shoot interview, you know what the hell happened on that night with the botched super kick, gave him a concussion and ended his career. Meanwhile, people forget that Bret was doing other shit afterwards that also made it worse, but it was the kick that ended it all. Jay, how did you feel?
Wasn't that prior to that? Wasn't that that was the Hart heel turn, right? And
well, they did others. They were teasing something with Goldberg and Bret, where like Goldberg speared Bret, and Bret had the metal plate underneath the jersey.
Right.
Yeah, but that was like once '99 came around, they're like, "Oh, now we're best friends. We're tag champions," and then the main event Starrcade that year, and the botched kick that honestly looks like an accident, but Bret's such a pro for the business that he's like, you know what? No, this guy's fucking reckless. He tried to kill me on purpose.
Well, you think about it. He often said, one thing you could say about all the people that I worked in and I entered the ring with, never hurt them. I took care of the people I worked with. And this gorilla gets in the ring, and I told him prior to the match, don't hurt me. And he said, no, he tells me, yeah, no, I got you. He said, no, listen, don't hurt me. I love Brett. He's such a fucking petty ass. Oh, I swear, he's such a petty prick.
He reminds us a lot of your own hero, CM Punk, right?
Yeah. That's why they have so much similarities.
And yeah, Brett had Goldberg, Punk had Ryback. I mean, it's very, very similar these days, huh?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on this nonsense? Just like, was it intentional? Was it him just being reckless? What is your take on this?
I think it was just well. If you look at the footage always again, I just think that he was, unintentionally clumsy. There'd been instances where you saw that. Remember, not really fully trained. They came out of the power plant. They really rushed him through it. He didn't have the same kind of work ethic or the ability to retain the ability to have legitimate matches. This is why they kept them so centralized with 5 to 7 minute matches. And to go in the ring with Brett, it was definitely going to be to pull money. Wasn't going to sit there and listen to anything that Brett says. Was just going to go out there and go fly by night. And with the kick was just there was a little something more on it than should. And Brett has said that it was a missed call. That wasn't what's supposed to happen.
No. Because what happened was he kicked him like straight in the face, legit.
Right.
It gave him a concussion.
Right. Concussion,
then,
and then it led into his neck. More injury to his neck and what he was dealing with. Such.
Right. And like I said minutes ago, where people tend to figure he did other things after this. Like they had him drive a car very fast, like as a getaway. He had a hardcore match with Terry Funk on a random Nitro, and he got even more concussed. But I mean, looking back, I'm not gonna say Goldberg did it on purpose, just for the sake of I don't care.
No,
but it's just
no.
that I think for him, it's that he never knew how to hold stuff back.
Right.
Because if I'm going to kick somebody, I'm going to kick somebody. And God help them with what happens. But I wouldn't say it's like reckless or like he's trying to purposely hurt another human being. It's just that he's going to do a move and then God help you if it actually connects or if it hurts. But,
yeah, and like mentioned, Brett, everybody tends to feel as though that after that match, that's when, Brett was never seen again. No, Brett wrestled after that. Like he still had matches afterwards.
Yeah, he was there for a solid month. And then Goldberg was there for around 2. But he famously decides, I'm not going to punch fake glass, real glass fill, right? Haha. But he fucking punches a window in a limo, cuts his arm, and he's out for 6 months.
Yeah, severed an artery, the fucking nitwit.
Because in his mind, he wanted it to look real. Is that real enough for you, Bill? You almost lost your arm.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Bill.
But this is once again inexperience, inability to want to sell them. And mind you, did you see how many times he hit the glass before it actually broke?
Yeah, and then the kicker was him slamming the hood. You could just see all the blood just come out of his arm.
Right. So it's we did that for what?
Because this shit ain't fake.
All right.
No, but you could do the wrestling part can be fake. You don't need to punch out a limo window for real, bro.
Yeah, but listen, we're men, and that's exactly the way that his sensibility was for having to do this. Was if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it the real way. All right, stupid, go for it.
Was that him? Is that just him projecting what his character would do? Like if the Goldberg character is real, he would punch it for real.
Right. Because real action stars do it real. Listen, we're all not Tom Cruise, bro. We don't need to sit there and fucking really hold on to the side of a fucking airplane while it's moving at the at shutter speeds. You can punch sugar glass. You can punch candy glass. It's okay. It's okay.
Goes away, heals his arm up, makes a cameo in the horrible Ready to Rumble movie, which His part was actually not bad, but you know what? Whatever the fuck, it's still one of those movies that just makes fun of wrestling fans. But WCW did it, everybody. But makes his return to WCW television, and this is around the time of the horrendous workings of Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff, booking wise. And booking decision wise, they turned Goldberg heel. He is new blood. He's not part of the Millionaires Club. He hates all the old people. He's not rich. He's new blood. Well, it's just one of those nonsense storylines. But what do you remember about the Bill Goldberg heel turn? Because this is one of those ones where, looking back, the most popular dude in the company on the roster is now a bad guy.
Once again, when you have somebody who had the lack of experience and such,
Yeah.
when you're a heel, you're gonna have to be a heel that knows how to talk.
Yes.
Goldberg was not a talker, so it was clearly horrible for him to be a part of a faction like this. And if you're a heel and you don't know how to speak, we put you with a manager or a valet. That didn't work either. So
Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff as his mouthpieces.
right, didn't work either. So yeah, you had it where he could have been the one, the savior of the WCW franchise, and I think Sting at this time was working limited, if I'm correct, and guys like Luger as well, they were coming to like a close and such. So it wasn't really like anything where they could have used him as the face of the company as opposed to putting him in this faction.
Yeah, because it really didn't last long either. It was pretty much a couple months.
Yeah.
Then immediately turned babyface because Hogan was out the door, Macho was gone, Luger running down Flair. They were trying to kick out of the company nonstop. It felt like every month in WCW, but they put Goldberg back as a babyface, feuding with Scott, Kevin Nash, a lot like all these heels. And it was really something to see that he's facing off with Vince Russo, and Vince Russo is standing up to Bill Goldberg. Like, what a fucking visual that was.
Right.
On most Nitros, where it's like Vince Russo is standing toe to toe with this big motherfucker.
What are you gonna do, Bill? What are you gonna do, bro? What's gonna happen, bro?
Do it for the kids, Bill. That was another one of those things where like Bill was like very charitable, so it was like one of those things you get to randomly hear on TV. It's like, oh, set a good example for the kids, Bill. It's like,
I can only
imagine. Where did that come from?
I could probably see the similarities between him and Warrior. They're both the same kind of guy doing fucking make-a-wishes and shit.
The fuck you want? You're next.
Right?
But WCW doesn't last throughout 2001. They get bought out. And Goldberg was one of those names that was rumored to be on the way in. I mean, Vince even did like a live survey in the ring. Like, do you want to see Sting? Do you want to see Buff Bagwell? You want to see Goldberg? And then the Raw crowd goes nuts. Like, yes, like we want to see Goldberg. You don't see him for the invasion. You don't see him until 2003. And I swear to God, I don't know how you heard of this, but they played a vignette on WrestleMania 19. And it says Goldberg is coming.
Right.
I'm sorry,
right.
what? like, how did you hear of the news of Goldberg was finally going to make the jump to WWE in 2003?
I so did. I couldn't care less, honestly, because I knew what was going to be the buildup, what they wanted to have, and I had a feeling that there was going to be so much trepidation and just pushback from not only the roster itself, because they're like, you're gonna bring him in, you're gonna want him to face off against the up and coming rising star, and then what happens to us, and it kind of was like, who cares? I really didn't care.
Right.
And then for 19, and then WrestleMania 19, it's like, once again, I'm only gonna wrestle on the biggest stage in the world. Like, that's the only thing you're gonna see. You didn't even get the opportunity to like have a really big build up.
It honestly came out of nowhere because there was no Raws going into WrestleMania where it was like, oh, like there was no vignettes played for Goldberg except for that night of WrestleMania.
Right.
And this was around the time too in 2003 where this is just beginning of the year when Hogan just came back, The Rock just came back from Hollywood, Austin's now back, but the night after WrestleMania is when Austin goes away. He gets he has to retire due to neck problems. The Rock's having his appreciation night because he done it all. He beat everybody. And then Goldberg's music hits. You see him come through the backstage area dressed in a Harley Davidson jacket and pants. And then he spears The Rock, which then leads to our first Goldberg WWE feud with The Rock, which I think at the time The Rock did pitch for this because he wanted to work with Bill, but I mean, it was one of those crazy things to see Goldberg on Raw at that time.
You think about it, right? You're talking about doing the work, doing a job for somebody. The Rock actually just fucking took a squash match, basically. Like, it was like,
he got his win from Stone Cold, and now it's like, let's put over the new guy, and it's Goldberg.
Right, exactly. So, you think about what was going to be the prelude and what was going to be the build up for this. You know, you finally got the match with Jericho. That was happening. You saw that in, I believe that was Bad Blood, right?
Yeah, and in between the Backlash thing and the Bad Blood thing, he had a thing with Christian, where Christian took one of those amazing spears from Goldberg,
right?
Or folds him in half. He had that thing with 3-minute warning. He speared them through the barricades. Like, he was in small spurts, like showing off what Goldberg was. And then WWE tried doing that comedy stuff where they had Goldust put his wig on Goldberg's head.
Right.
So you had that moment where Goldberg's like standing there with the wig, and it's like here we go. Like, and you're gonna tell me like Goldberg looked awkward enough doing this shit, but it was just, I don't know. Like, again, like, I think just Goldberg was just in Goldberg's way. Where, like, around the time when before he has the match with Jericho, like, he's having a shoot fight with Jericho, and Jericho's taking him down with wrestling holds.
Right. And you think about it, like I mentioned earlier, the whole build-up was to get what we're going to see down the line. And, you know, it didn't put him in a complimentary place. Plus, Vince knew what it was. This was just for the fans. This was for the green. He never really respected what the fuck Goldberg did either. Like, he was not a big fan of him. So, of course, and it was known in many circles because I believe JBL said it, where he said, when the new guys came in from the old company, it was the rite of passage that you had to fucking earn and make and break your way in. He didn't give a fuck if it was Kevin Nash or Scott Hall to fucking Goldberg. Don't care wherever you are in that bill, you are going to have to show and prove that you are a WWE wrestler and do business. And if it meant humiliation, you got to eat it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what Booker T did, and Booker T became one of those fucking favorites back early on.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things, too, where every week on Raw, whoever the hell it was, whether it was Christian, Jericho, or fucking Rico, we don't want you here, Bill. We want you out of here. Every week, somebody on the roster was complaining, like, publicly.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want Goldberg here. And then, Jay, we have to talk about it. It's when Goldberg finally confronts Triple H. And we knew from the years, like the prior 2 years, what Triple H's starts of Bill Goldberg were, where he famously said on Tough Enough, because one of the Tough Enough contestants had like a Bill Goldberg poster in his room, and Taz ripped it up, and then of course they gave the Iggy to Triple H, so Triple H went on this diatribe like I'm busting my ass out there every day of the weekend. You have Goldberg sitting at home getting a paycheck doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But who's a bigger star in this business? So you knew the minute Goldberg was coming to WWE, they were going to have a face-off, and boy, did they have face-offs. We see a lot of classic face-offs. These two noses were touching each other every week, every time they had a face-off. what was your memories of, like, what do you remember, like, because watching at home, you knew these two hated each other, or like Triple H had something very, like, he hated Goldberg.
You know, this is at a time, once again, I shout out to my boy Smack. He was a huge Triple H fan at this time, and me watching this rivalry made me realize, like, this is where it elevated Triple H more, because it was real. It felt that real, and at the same time, looking back at it, you knew that he is a business guy. He's that guy. But for here, it was almost like this was probably the realest person that you saw outside of his return from an injury at the Garden when that big pop happened. So you could tell that he was really in his element, having his face off here with Goldberg for some time.
Yeah. And it also shows you how professional Triple H was, because despite his feelings of Bill and how he came into the business,
right?
I was going to say he put him over, but aside from that SummerSlam nonsense, he put Bill over twice.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the SummerSlam could have been the easiest thing that WWE could have done. Had Bill just go in, destroy everybody, and win the world title. Not easy. No, Triple H hits him with a sledgehammer. One sledgehammer shot, 1, 2, 3, and Bill loses. Boo-hoo.
Right.
Which looks bad on Goldberg, too, because it's like, all it took was one sledgehammer shot. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
This indestructible monster that gets one shot to the face.
Hey, listen. You should have brought the cattle prod. It'd have been quicker.
Goldberg would have had like Vietnam flashbacks if he saw
exactly.
And it's like, this is one of those weird time periods too, where in a time capsule, on a random Raw, you get to see Goldberg versus an early Batista.
Yeah. Was that
holy shit?
That was the bounty, right?
Yeah. They put a bounty on this dude, and then, oh boy, at Survivor Series, they teased the ultimate WrestleMania dream match for everybody of wrestling fans alike, when Goldberg confronted Brock Lesnar for the first time.
Yeah.
So, at that time, did you realize what was going to happen, or you were just like, no, please, no?
When he came into the building, I know this is what they want. They're just going to build. That's what they want to build up is. I knew exactly what it was. That's what I said earlier. I said this is what their build up was going to be. They wanted to have the returning god from one company to face the up and comer, the new breed, and this was going to happen. I knew. The only thing I didn't know what was going to be the caveats for that wrestling match, which was the special guest referee,
or even how the hell we're going to get to this point, because at that point, both were world champions on respective shows, which was the interesting thing too, is that they kept them apart for the whole year.
Yeah.
So then Goldberg eventually drops the belt back to Triple H by the start of 2004. He's in the Rumble, confronts Lesnar again. So then Lesnar costs him the Royal Rumble match, and then we had that moment in No Way Out of 2004. Eddie wins the WWE title thanks to Goldberg, which everybody either doesn't want to say it, or just like it's like a blip memory where it's like, yeah, Goldberg was there, but Eddie beat Brock clean.
Right.
But you mentioned WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden, Goldberg versus Brock, and they put Austin as the ref. The only person the people cared about in that ring was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, because already the rumors were circulating. Lesnar was leaving for the NFL,
which was one of those. Which was, looking back on it, groundbreaking, because as a kid I didn't know, but the internet was privy to the fact that Brock told Vince, "I'm done. I've had enough. I want out." He wants to go play football, and Goldberg, I think his deal was up. I think that was his deal.
Yeah.
And he just pretty much said, "I'm not resigning. This will be my last thing for you." But the fans took all that information. Boring. You guys suck. And Goldberg really didn't have a good reaction to all this, because he talks about it. He's been talking about it, but at one point you see him look at Brock. He goes, "Who gives a fuck about these people? Let's do our match."
Right.
and they have one of the more horrible matches at WrestleMania.
Atrocious.
Stalling, and it's like not even like their style of matches. They lots of stalling, do F5 attempts, spears, jackhammers, and that was it. And the end of the thing is just Stone Cold standing tall with giving a stunner to both Brock and Goldberg. And that was the last we saw of Goldberg in WWE in 2004.
Yeah, and I guess the coup de grace that put everybody back into some kind of sense was they received stunners from Austin.
Yeah. That was the only thing people really cheered the most for in that match.
Yeah. And then he was not seen in wrestling for a long time.
I mean, he would do your odd muscle car TV spots. That was one of his big things. He was in occasional movies. He was in The Longest Yard, where pretty much his character was he has a big dick. That was pretty much his character in The Longest Yard. I do remember him doing that weird Looney Tunes live action movie.
Yeah,
he was back in action. He wasn't
back in action. Yeah, he was in that.
I remember him doing pros versus Joes. So, like as an ex-football player, he was a pro.
He was in the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme early on, the Universal Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just did like a lot of as they considered in the day, B movies. Those straight to DVD, straight to video movies.
Oh yeah. Oh, and this reminded me, he did a horror movie. He was the evil Santa Claus.
Right. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, Santa Sleigh.
Santa Sleigh. I think it's very funny too because he's Jewish, so it's
right. I'm a Jew, an only Jew at Christmas,
and he's a killer Santa Claus.
Oh, the funniest thing is that he was actually on a TV series that was named The Goldbergs.
Oh, really?
He did 8 episodes of The Goldbergs.
Yeah. He also did one cameo on Law and Order SVU where him and Elliot Stabler had a little battle.
Oh,
I remember because it was like the show the opening, and you just see him battling like Mr. T and Stabler. And it's funny nowadays where like Chris Maloney looks like Goldberg now with his new hairstyle and beard.
Yeah, with the low cut hair, the baldy, yeah.
But we didn't hear anything of Bill in the world of wrestling. There was always rumors. Let's be real here. There was always rumors like occasional TNA would be like, "Oh, wait, we want to bring in Goldberg as an authority figure." Like, can you fucking imagine?
Yeah, and even still, like just to have those possible, sightings or possibilities of him returning, I was like, for what? Why? Why do we want this?
Like he randomly showed up at a UFC event. People are like, oh, imagine him doing an MMA fight. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Goldberg's not going to fucking fight.
Please. He can barely fight in real life. What makes he do? He was the first one to talk about kick people's asses, and then you find out that he's a big fucking wimp.
But then in 2016, the new game trailer comes out for 2K17, and the pre-order bonus is Mr. Bill Goldberg. And it's one of those rare ones where, like, at that time, when whoever was the DLC character usually found their way back into the world of wrestling. So, like, Sting for 2K15 finally makes his WWE appearance. Ultimate Warrior came back to the company, went into the Hall of Fame. But for Bill Goldberg being added as a DLC character for the next video game, started circulating. Will he make his return to WWE? And I shit you not, they do the brand split, and he's back on Monday Night Raw months later. And I don't know why. If you have any memory of this, they were promoting the Ultimate Dream match of Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. Do you not remember this from 2004?
Did they?
Yeah, they were saying,
holy shit. That's why
remember
what I mentioned earlier. They actually believe that fucking wrestling fans have memories like goldfish.
Yeah, they were pretending like, oh, what would happen if Goldberg and Brock Lesnar stepped in the ring? I remember. It sucked. And then they did it that year Survivor Series. And it was one of those shocking fucking moments. He squashed Brock in under a minute. Spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I that was probably the biggest shock that I've ever had in watching a Goldberg match ever. That was it for
And
me.
this was still the early days of Brock beating the streak and being
Right.
the unstoppable monster, and they just killed it in one fucking night.
Yep, and one failed swoop.
And then and there was a reason why Goldberg came back into the world of wrestling was because, oh, my son, I want to show my son what I used to do. Build as a network, you could show him everything you used to do. There's no reason to step back in the ring, and this is again one of those times where Goldberg did interviews to say he used to train his ass off, make himself look like physically what he used to look like, and he used to kill himself. Goldberg's not young anymore, and trying to achieve the body that he used to, like back in the '90s. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, steroids. I'm sorry, because new place I got like dust everywhere. Yeah, come on, let's be for real here, guy.
There was also one of those funny times too, because on the odd appearance on Monday Night Raw, he used to cut promos more often than he used to in his whole entire career, and I said at the time, like, he sounds like he's doing his best Hawk impression.
Yes, that is true. He did sound like that, yeah.
He's like, well, I am on the list.
Right.
Like, that's what you're Hawk or Goldberg talking right now.
That is true. I do remember that.
But it was also one of those moments, too, where, again, there's going to be a lot of these moments, but he comes back, wins a world title again, and he's going to Mania as a champion, where he killed our boy Kevin Owens at that Fastlane pay-per-view.
Another guy who did the job for him and he never appreciated it.
Yeah, but Goldberg wins the Universal title. Funny enough, had a better WrestleMania match with Brock at that year's Mania than they did like over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But then they put him in the Hall of Fame, which was deserved because of his career. And you thought maybe that's it for Goldberg, right? No.
Not at all.
He had a couple more matches left in him, huh?
Yeah, and one match that you really hated because why? This guy.
Oh yeah, because we predicted it. But I mean, I'm trying to remember what was first. What the hell was the first? What was his first match after? Was it the Undertaker thing? Because at this point, WWE made a deal with Saudi Arabia where they would do shows over there, and then they would bring in all the old guys. So, and this is another one. And this is another one of those random things where, like, they would casually be like, "By the way, at our next Super Showdown pay-per-view, it's going to be Goldberg versus the Undertaker, first time ever."
Yeah, and remember, he suffered a concussion during that match. Isn't that when he ran into the turnbuckle post?
That was the one where he banged his head on the door a little too hard before the match even started.
Before the match too, yeah.
And
Stephanie told him don't do that. And he did it anyway.
That's why his entrance took long, because he was stuck in Gorilla trying to clean up the blood off his head from banging the door.
And this is once again Bill going to business for Bill, being a mark for himself. No different than him punching real glass. He fucking went, banged his head on the door, in which they told him, don't do that. And he did it anyway.
Gave himself a concussion before the damn match even started.
Yep.
Then he gave himself a second concussion by missing a spear and hitting the turnbuckle, and then nearly killing The Undertaker with a jackhammer. Do you remember seeing that? We saw the gifs. It was like Undertaker landing right on the back of his, like almost breaking his neck.
Right. It's just an awkward jackhammer.
Even the tombstone was a fail. That match was just abysmal. Abysmal.
I think Undertaker later on said that this was probably the worst match he's ever been in.
Yeah. I think he said if he was in a better headspace, it could have been better. It was like, no, bro.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you fucking felt, that match was going to be dog shit regardless.
Definitely.
But he needs a redemption, right? So let's have him kill Dolph Ziggler for funsies at SummerSlam, and then unfortunately, it's like Goldberg can't stop going for titles, even though it just never ends. Because there was a character on the rise called the Fiend, and he was unstoppable sometimes not, but just randomly. Again, it's like one of those random things. Goldberg shows up on SmackDown. I want my Universal title back, huh? What? Why? What the fuck? And then because you were doing,
and he was universally loved at the time. The Fiend was hot as a pistol. He
could not do anything wrong despite the stupid magic stuff in the puppets. It didn't matter. Everybody still loved him. But you leading into that stupid show, Goldberg is going to win. Goldberg is going to be the new Universal Champion. And I was like, no, doesn't make sense. Fiend's going to get the big win on Goldberg. And they had another horror. It's like, it's not even a point for people to go watch these matches. It's just spear, jackhammer. Goldberg is the fucking Universal Champion again.
Remind people, what was your thought process when you saw it happening?
I think I related to like watching somebody die, and you can't do anything about it. And you're just like, no, don't take that spear. It's like, oh, here comes another one. Oh shit! Oh, no. Okay, kick out the jackhammer. Oh.
The only thing that pissed me off about that was the fact that one of my coworkers told me later on that there was a website that was taking that bet, and I was like, "Fuck! I should have taken that bet. I would have fucking won. I'd have got some money for it." Shit.
I think I also made the comment too. It's like you picking Goldberg to beat the Fiend means that you hate wrestling too. Which it's just like looking back on it, it's like why?
I'm just
Goldberg has said in interviews too, where it's like I didn't politic my way to win that. And you know what? I think it's fair to say that a lot of this stuff that we're talking about him like facing Undertaker, facing Dolph, like the Fiend, like, this was all Vince's idea. Vince was like, I have Goldberg for X amount of years. Let me use him to make some money, and he'll get some big paydays out of it. It's not like Goldberg's like, oh, like let me squash the young guy. Like this was all Vince.
Well, to be fair, you know, you hate to see it, but you even say it, but you know, Fiend was just a transitional champ, and the fact was that you know that character should never really be a champion. It was just like a spur, you know, that spur of the moment thing to have.
Right.
And it was to, you know, give Goldberg, you know, the ability to get that title, which led to the Mania match. And
which was supposed to be him versus Roman. And then Roman, this was also pre-pandemic, like right as the pandemic was starting. And Roman, the week of that they're going to do the WrestleMania tapings, I'm out. I'm not risking my health for this nonsense.
Yeah. Which,
holy shit, was probably the best business decision of that man's career.
Listen, you know,
and not for nothing, he was probably going to fucking win. That's the funny thing. He was probably going to win, and he just said, "You know what? I'm not risking my health doing this until I feel it's safe."
Well, to be fair, you know, Roman.
I'm not working with Goldberg. I'm not saying in that part. I'm just saying where for his physical, because he was in remission from leukemia, and he's not
leukemia. To be fair, So you get that, and then you know, he comes. You know, Goldberg doesn't go away. He goes on hiatus.
Yeah, he puts over on Strowman, and then once the crowds came back, guess who else is who he's ready to go for next? Bobby Lashley.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This would have been the best run that he had with individuals that he faced in his last few years. Because remember, he faced Drew McIntyre at Rumble, and then he had the Bobby Lashley run.
He did do that.
He had the Bobby Lashley run.
He eventually did do the match with Roman in Saudi Arabia.
Right, and then you got the Saudi Arabia match with Roman. And then
that was it until he came back in 2025.
with Gunther, and that
Yes.
was pretty much, which was I gotta say, as much as I really not a fan of this dude, they fucking did him dirty for that last for his retirement match. They fucking did him dirty.
Go, I'll give you the floor because this was amazing. This is like
So
they do the Bad Blood thing because Bad Blood was in Atlanta and Goldberg was like a
uh-huh.
guest there. And Gunther came out and said like, "Oh, like Goldberg, you're one of my favorite wrestlers ever." Like as like a like not really, but then they advertise Saturday Night's Main Event. And this is what, I just want to say this too. For every time Goldberg came back, it was always the caveat: it's had to be a champion.
Right.
Like, what the fuck did you do to deserve a title shot? But go ahead.
Right.
So he has the match with Saturday Night's Main Event. He loses to Gunther.
And to be fair, for what my earlier my earlier reasoning of his inability as a professional, it was funny because he can't speak. He's not a great promo guy. But Jesus, at his retirement match, can you not let him get the mic for a few minutes or such just to thank the crowd? No, the logo comes up and says, "Goodbye, everybody." Oh, man.
Oh, what a fitting end.
It's just, if you want to keep somebody bitter, just do some fucked up shit to them and they'll continue to be bitter.
Yeah, just keep pissing him off. Like, keep having him, like, keep doing the things that he's claiming you're doing.
Right.
And then it was like one of those things where he tweeted something where he said, no, I think he did Aaron Hawani's show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he did a tweet saying like, "Oh, you're gonna find out the real truth of what happened in the next coming weeks." Never said another word because he was supposed to come out and say something like he was gonna reveal like, "Oh, what's really the Scoop brother on
Listen,
what happened at Saturday's Main Event?" But he did not say another word. He kept silent.
Let's not burn any bridges, sir. So you want to go through his championships and accomplishments quick?
Sure.
Okay, so the PWI has him as Comeback Wrestler of the Year for 2016.
I'm not surprised at that because during that year he had like impressive showings against Brock.
Inspirational Wrestler of the Year in 1998. Inspirational Wrestler? Okay.
Okay, cool.
Rookie of the Year 1998.
Makes sense.
And ranked number 2 of 500 single wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1998. This guy had a fucking year, huh?
Who was number one?
That's interesting. We should find out who was
number
one.
It's probably Austin, right?
Probably.
In 98, yeah.
Probably Austin or Rock, one of them at the time.
Holy shit.
Number 2, it's ridiculous, right? Rolling Stone had him at number 5 of the 10 best wrestlers of 2016. Number 5 of the 10 best wrestlers of WWE in 2016. Fantastic. Okay.
Probably over Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, John
ridiculous. Cena. Yeah, and that's pretty much it when it came to his accomplishments. Remember, he was only a World Heavyweight Championship in WWE once. He was the Universal Champion twice. Had the WCW World Title once, and had the US title twice. So he didn't really have a lot of gold around his waist.
Right. But for a guy that it looks like he was there for a long time, he really wasn't. It was always like short spurts and in and outs and just like short title reigns.
This is why I say, like, every time when somebody goes, "Yo, Goldberg was my favorite wrestler," and I go, how? Like, for what? Like, explain to me what made he went in the ring and kicked ass. I'm like,
so anything else.
And I'm sorry, it's just like telling a kid, like, Santa Claus is not real, dude. I just wanted to explain this to you. It's not real. But yeah, I was like, I never, he wouldn't even be anywhere close to my 500. Like, there would Goldberg goes nowhere in there. Like, but I do give credit where credit is due, where to say, gimmick wise and the way that the company WCW presented him was exceptional. It's probably one of the best gimmicks outside of Crow Sting that they
Right.
did that had the fans over as fuck.
Mhm.
And that's a big thing to say because NWO was fucking over as shit. You had a lot of
Right.
fucking presenting the cruiserweights was amazing, but you know what they did for Goldberg, where they hid all his flaws and put him in that kind of gimmick and work, was probably the best magic trick I've ever seen.
His overall presentation it was something you really didn't see on WCW because, like you said, you had the NWO stuff, the cruiserweights, you had all this other nonsense, and then here comes this bald badass who's big and muscular, just mowing people down left and right.
Right.
And we didn't get to mention it. This dude was able to pick up big motherfuckers, like big.
Oh no, he had strength.
The guy that played the Yeti, he picked his ass up easily. He picked up the Big Show with ease. Like,
no, not to take anything away from him. Of course, he was a strong motherfucker. Yeah. No, not to take anything from that.
But number 2 wrestler in 1998, Jesus Christ,
That's exceptional. That is ridiculous.
when you can get away with nothing and just be, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it says it here. Stone Cold described Goldberg as one of the strongest wrestlers in history. Mark Henry, who himself is regarded as the world's strongest man, also describes Goldberg as the most dominant superstar ever to set foot inside the square. Really? I don't know. Listen, I've heard about strength and such with people. The ones that I know have often gotten that in that category has been Mark Henry, Kane. Kane has often been called like one of the strongest guys in the ring, and of course, the man himself, John Cena, is fucking ridiculously strong. So like, and Bobby Lashley, those are guys I would put in there. But it's not, like I said, not to take anything away from Goldberg. He was a fucking big dude, but you know, come on, let's call a spade here. He's a fucking piece. He's a piece of work when he got in there with him.
So as we close off, what's the final verdict on Mr. Bill Goldberg? What else do we say about Bill in a positive light?
L'chaim, since he is Jewish. You know, Jesus I have to say, I have to say, listen, like I said, not one of the best to ever, you know, step in the squared circle. I can't say that I do understand the hype and why the fan base was there for him and what the goal was for presenting them that they did. They presented him like this gladiator and such, and it was beautiful work by Bischoff and the other bookers that were there to do that. But his long-standing legacy is just for, you know, it's for casuals. It's not for legit fans. It's for the casuals. And, you know, that's what sometimes wrestling is there for, to capture the attention of the casuals or those who are getting into the business to watch it. And it's always that. Before you say yours, excuse me, I didn't hear what was Ariana's like thoughts about him.
She pretty much was like boring, overrated, didn't get it.
Also, we were in the same book, got it.
Yeah. It was like I tried like saying like, oh, like he had like a presence, but she was like never got him. Totally like a stiff. Just nothing stood out about Goldberg, in her words. But it's just one of those things where, again, I didn't grow up watching him in WCW, but when I got to see him for that brief 9-month run in WWE, and then to see him later on come back for his second run, it was just very overwhelming and just showed that you really can do a lot by doing less.
Listen, Bret Hart has said it best. His wrestling, his work rate was 0 out of 10.
And what's Triple H, 4 out of 10?
Yeah, exactly.
But everybody, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of History and Headlocks. Everybody, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we are on if you're not aware of what channel this is the New York Wrestle Media. So if we go on to Instagram and Facebook at New York Wrestle Media, Jay has all fun stuff coming up on the pipeline on this channel, where press save, cutting a promo, a lot of Turnbuckle Tabloid stuff. But for us here as well, we have our Instagram page at History and the Headlocks, and We have a Facebook page now at History and Headlocks, where pretty much that page will be used for updates on what's going to be coming up on the pop line for History and Headlocks, which I'm happy to announce what's the next thing we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be interested to see Jay's reaction to this because he doesn't know yet. We usually keep him in the dark until we announce the stuff. But
I like stuff like that. That's fun.
So, since the 4th of July is coming up, let's have a themed episode for the History and Headlocks. The best non-American gimmicks we're going to be talking about. Talking about guys like the Iron Sheik, and one of the special characters from my childhood is Muhammad Hassan and others. But it's going to be one of those special episodes where we talk about the non-American gimmicks.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good turn. I like that. That's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, because we can't keep talking about the American gimmicks. It's too much American propaganda.
Yeah, I'm going to say thank you guys for sticking by and being around for such a long time. We've been doing this for quite some time. And, yeah, man, more content going to be cracked up. Now with the studio space that's here now, I got a lot more to play with. I'm secluded. They locked me in. I'm not going to have to worry about, any traffic that's going on. And I'm able to really now hyper focus on what's going to happen with up and coming stuff from here in the network and such. And as always, thank you guys for watching, checking in, and make sure you also download the podcast as well. We're on all podcasting outlets, so just look up New York Wrestle Media, like and subscribe, be a part of the vibe of all things connected to what we're doing here. Not only wrestling, but more stuff with sports, video games, and much more coming down. So, guys, thanks again for checking in.
And everybody, please like, comment, and subscribe because we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers still, everybody.
We're almost there, guys. We're almost there.
Yeah. But until then, class is dismissed.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.